boys like Mexico? I've been told that if you're single in November, it's because you're ugly. Well, it's November, boys, and I'm not taken. But maybe this is gonna help me get some attention. This is a 2013 Nissan GTR Black Edition, and she's been tuned. All the bolt-ons and mechanical installations have been done by Ace Performance, who you've definitely seen before because they build caterers. You've seen their cars on Top Gear and definitely on Classic Car Club Manhattan's Instagram. But all the tuning has been done by our friend Bren over in Upton, Massachusetts at Bren Tuning. So now this thing makes close to 600 horsepower and the same amount of torque. Let's take it for a ride. Now, we are on some pretty garbage tires right now. They're like all seasons, but this is low boost. We do have a high boost setting, which we're gonna try out in a minute, but first, this car is not slow.
No, it's not.
This is wonderful. Oh, I like the GTR. It doesn't really keep pulling hard to the top end, so I'm really curious to see if the high boost setting makes it pull the red line a little harder. It feels like it falls off a little bit up top where I'd almost want to short shift it just to keep it in boost. So let's try out the high boost setting. This car's got a little bit of trickery. What we're gonna do is we're gonna hold the cancel button and then we're gonna toggle the cruise control. That's gonna allow us to change our map. Very easy. Now we're in high boost. Doesn't feel much different to me. I mean, it ain't slow. God, I'm so spoiled.
I know.
Kind of showcases what this car's all about though, because it's really about getting out of the hole. This car launches like nothing else. I'm a little afraid to do that because I've been told these are sensitive gearboxes and drivelines, and I don't want to be responsible for paying for that. Surprisingly, it's very similar to my M3 DCT, so I already feel pretty natural in this. If you're coming from a BMW and you jump into a GTR, pretty much feels the same. What I like a lot about this car is the static paddles. They're not mounted to the steering wheel, so it's more exotic. That makes it feel a little more like the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris of the world. But also, this is totally daily drivable. You've got all-wheel drive. It's ready for the winter. It's a little clunky, kind of always sounds broken, so you also need to be prepared for some scary sounds. The gearbox has a creep function, so when I let off the brake, it engages that clutch, unlike the BMW DCT, which requires a little bit of throttle input.
You hold this down, and as you're holding that down, you mat the throttle, and it'll just start spooling the turbos, and you let it go, and it'll just slingshot itself.
Hold it down. Holy shit. 40 miles an hour, holding down, floored. We'll do that one more time for the boys. All right, ready? Held down. That can't be good for the car. But I was told to do it. I guess you call it like rolling anti-lag, right?
And that's what it's called, yeah,
Okay.
rolling anti-lag.
Owning this car may be frightening to those of you who aren't really prepared to listen to snaps, crackles, pops, and clunks. Every time you start the car, it sounds a little terrifying. When you put it in reverse and it engages that reverse, you definitely know that it's starting to clunk into gear and engage those clutches. And you get a lot of respect in this car on the road. It has a pretty big presence, so I'm getting noticed quite a bit. Listen to those brakes! People are nice to me in this car. They let me go. I think if this was a Ferrari, they'd be like, "Go f yourself." Even a Porsche. The GTR, they're like, "Hey, cool!" He takes a corner. Third gear is where this car is really at home. It starts to taper off when you get into fourth, but man, second and third, this thing friggin' punches way above its weight class. We're talking about a car that you can now get on the used market at $65,000. There is nothing else for $65,000 that you can do this in. I am all about this power band because it basically makes it like a 0 to 100 monster. And the way it upshifts from second to third is so aggressive and nasty. Not the most refined sound, you know? If you're graduating from a 350Z or a 370Z into a GTR, it's gonna be a familiar sound to you. If you're coming down from a flat six Porsche, this may disappoint, but it's unique and people know the sound of this car. These roads are so beautiful. We've got to be cautious of the cyclists because we are sharing the road. How does it compare to things that are kind of in that $60,000, $70,000 price range? A Porsche, it is not. Fit and finish inside, definitely unique to the GTR, very cool. Obviously Gran Turismo inspired gauges from the Polyphony sound image graphic designers. And other than that, you know, you look at it at a car show, it's probably not gonna wow you. I see the dog. Probably not gonna wow you. But what it does have is a pretty unique cabin. It's definitely its own world. From a driver's standpoint, some things that are not so stellar. Steering is good, not great, okay? This is not Porsche steering. I'm sorry to say, this feels more like a really tight Nissan Maxima. It's absolutely worth mentioning that this car is drama-free. From the outside, people are seeing and hearing this monster exotic Japanese car go ballistic. But inside, it's scrambling, but you don't have to do any work. You point and shoot. Everything I'm doing in this car, I just mat the throttle and let the car sort out the rest. Even if I'm coming out of a parking lot and I'm turned a little bit, wide open throttle, it sorts it all out for me. So you're not gonna die in this car. Anyone who's crashing a GTR either has a 1200 horsepower GTR or pointed it directly into a wall. Squeaky brakes, nice and easy. Just kidding. Because what you'll feel is the rear end lets go just a little bit. It's certainly rear biased with its all-wheel drive system, but just as that's about to start letting go, it shoots power to the front and drags it away. So I have not noticed I've ever even had to counter steer in this car. There's no point. It does it for you. Now, I'm 5'9", 135 massive pounds. And that is my driving position. I have knee room, but what's odd is I don't have feet room. Down here, I can actually feel the seat on my toes through my shoes. And my head hits the glass. There's one cup holder because no one in their right mind would put two people back here. If you're coming from an Evo, an STI, or even an M3 and it's just not enough straight line power for you, this is more exotic, more capable, and it'll definitely get the job done when you're visiting Mexico on the weekends. Did we find a tunnel in the GTR? Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive. Go ahead and check out Ace and Ren Tuning in the links below. And thank you so much to the owner of this car for just giving me the car for the day. I like that. It makes it easier to film. See you in the next one. Wow, good. Nissan makes a really good e-brake. Can you hear all of the clunks this gearbox makes? It's insane. This is not a car for the faint of heart. I think I would have a hard time driving this all the time. I'd probably just panic at all the noises. I know it's okay. The internet has taught us this is what GTRs are supposed to sound like.